the story about Alfred Hitchcock, his personal life, and the making of Psycho.
Hey guys, Kenny here. Stay cool and relax to the movies.
Hitchcock. This film really surprised me. I really enjoyed it. It stars Anthony Hopkins as Alfred Hitchcock, Helen Mirren as his wife, Alma Revel, Scarlett Johansson as Janet Leigh, Toni Collette as Peggy Robertson, I think a secretary of his. Danny Houston plays Whitfield Cook, a man who's a pretty well-known writer, and then he has something of a fling going on with Alma Revel, and Alfred Hitchcock thinks that she's doing this. Jessica Biel plays Vera Miles, James D'Arcy as Anthony Hopkins. Ralph Macchio has a cameo as Joseph Stefano, and Michael Wincott is playing Ed Gein, and he has a pretty long part in this, and it's more of a part that's in the mind of Alfred Hitchcock. Because Alfred it's like he's envisioning him, and he sees personal things that are going on with Ed Gein, and he starts feeling sort of sentimental to Ed Gein, and I think that's what made Psycho so well known and loved. And Alfred was trying to find his next film after North by Northwest, and he picked Psycho as his next film, and this is what it's really about, this film of Hitchcock. It's about his life and all the troubles he went through to try and get Psycho financed, and also he was going through some pretty big mental turmoil about whether he should really do it or not. And also, while it was being shot, they were getting behind in the schedule of the shooting, and then he was even getting sick at one point, because I think the filming of this had started taking a huge toll on him. And Scarlett Johansson as Janet Leigh, she didn't have as big a part as I thought she would, but I really liked how she made Janet's character look and seem like a all-around good person. She tried to make her come across as someone you would really like to know. But Jessica Biel, who played Vera Miles, she did a fantastic job at playing Vera, being a tortured soul, because Alfred had been having her in his films so much that she really wanted to try and get away from that all. And I think by the time of Psycho, she had been, it's probably was a few years since the last time she was in a film of Hitchcock's, and at this time in their life she's already married and having kids. So it seemed like she's kind of forced back into being in a Hitchcock film. But I really liked near the end that Hitchcock became more sentimental, and you got to care for him more, because he was going through so much trouble with trying to get the film actually financed and actually filming, that, well, at least me, I felt at a certain point I started feeling really bad for him, and I think that was a testament to Anthony Hopkins and how he played Alfred so, to me, real and believable. And near the end, he really starts to understand what his life and his wife and with his wife and their life together, and it's at that point when Hitchcock and his wife's lives together really start getting better from that point on. And at the very, very end, it has Anthony playing Alfred looking at the camera and saying a speech about what his next project was going to be. And I don't want to spoil it, but there's something that comes onto his right shoulder, and that's a clue to the film that he had done after Psycho, which is also another huge classic in the horror and suspense genre. The opening was also very, very tongue-in-cheek, because it had if any of you have ever seen the opening or an episode of Alfred Hitchcock Presents, it's a TV series he had done during at least in the 40s or 50s all the way to the late 60s or sometime around there. It had this music at the beginning, and then it pans away from the logo of his face just drawn. Then it pans away to him, and then he says a little speech in the episode. Something like that happens, but I'm not gonna spoil that part. But just watch for that, because that was a cute little nod to that original TV series. And that's basically really all the positives I can say. I've loved really everything about it. If there's anything negative, sometimes, like, there are those little flashback, I don't know if you call it a flashback but moments when you get into Hitchcock's head and then he's talking to Ed Gein. Sometimes that got, at first I was trying to get used to it, so at first I was thinking, what was the point of this? But after seeing that a few more times, I started to understand it. But at the beginning, it kind of didn't make sense. But it wasn't until like maybe the second or third time that was going on was when it really started making sense. Let's see. Jessica Biel, I actually really liked her in this. A lot of people probably think she's not much of an actress. Like, she probably acts the same in each film she's done. I personally think this is the best acting she's ever done in her career. And this film probably won't be thought of very much in her filmography, which is pretty sad. And already I think this film is underrated. Scarlett Johansson, I couldn't think of anything negative about her. I loved her performance in this, really. And let's see, no, that's about it. That whole those moments when you're in Hitchcock's head and he's singing Ed Gein, that's about the only negative thing I can think of. So I really, really recommend this film. And I saw it at a dollar theater, so it's probably close to being out of theaters by now. So if any of you ever do see it in a store of yours that sells videos, I highly recommend you pick this up. I think you won't be disappointed. And there's Hitchcock there, and I really recommend this. So I'll give this a 4.5 out of 5 stars. So stay cool and roll out to the movies. Bye.